student. Welcome to the class of operating system. Today we are going to discuss about a very important issue in memory management scheme, that is paging and segmentation. Paging and segmentation is part of non-contiguous memory allocation. We have already discussed some issues regarding paging. Now in this lecture, again we are going to recapitulate those issues, and with that we are also going to discuss about segmentation. So the two main topic we are going to discuss about paging, discuss today is paging and segmentation. In paging, we are going to discuss about address translation scheme, paging hardware, implementation of page table, memory protection, shared page, and structure of page table. In segmentation, we are going to discuss about segmentation architecture and segmentation hardware. So what is paging? Paging is basically a non-contiguous memory management scheme. So the logical address space of a process can be non-contiguous. Process is allocated physical memory whenever the latter is available. In paging, the physical memory is divided into fixed size blocks called frames. These size must be a power of 2 between 512 bytes and 8192 bytes. The logical memory is also going to be divided into blocks, obviously fixed size blocks, and those are called pages. The size of the page and the size of the frame must be equal. So we need to keep track of all free frames. To run a program of size n pages, need to find n free frames and load program. Set up a page table to translate logical to physical address, and the important issue is internal fragmentation. Here, address translation scheme. The address generated by CPU, that is the logical address, is divided into page number and page offset. Page number, which denoted by P, is used and indexed into the page table, which contains the base address of the page in physical memory. Page offset, that is denoted by D, going to combine with the base address to define the physical memory address that is sent to the memory unit. So basically it is total logical address is going to divide it into page number and page offset. And page number is m minus n, page offset size is n, and the logical address space is 2 to the power, for a given logical address space 2 to the power m, and the page size is 2 to the power n. It's obviously 2 to the power because you can see it is going to divide it like this. So this is basically the paging hardware, where the CPU generated address, that is the logical address, is going to divide it into page number and page offset. Now page number is going to act as an index in the page table, and the index is going to help us to find the corresponding frame number. So if we find the corresponding frame number, that means the base address of the physical memory. And now that base address, with that base address, we are going to add the value of the offset. Okay, we are going to add the value of the offset from the page offset from the logical address. You can see the logical page offset is going to come here. And now we are going to have the total physical memory address for that particular logical address. Okay, so in this way the paging hardware help us to mapping between logical address to physical address. Okay, so this is the paging hardware. Now this is basically the paging model of a logical and physical memory. Here, this is basically an example. Here you can see the logical memory is going to divide it into 4 pages. Page 0, page 1, page 2, and page 3. This is the corresponding page table. In the page table, these are the page index. Okay. So from this page table, we are going to find what page 0 is located at frame number 1. You know, in the page table, what we are going to store? The frame numbers. And the page intake index is going to help us to find that frame number. So the page index is going to help us to find that corresponding frame number. So this is page 0 for the page index. The 0 is for the page index, and from this page table we are going to find that page 0 is located at frame number 1. You can see page 0 is located at frame number 1. So what is the frame number of page 2? It is 3. You can see in frame 3 we have page 2. In frame 4, we have page 1. In frame 7, we have page 3. Okay. So with this example, the mapping can be easily described. Okay. Now, how we can find the free frame? So basically, this is the free frame list. 14, 13, 18, you can see this is the free frame list in the main memory. And this is basically the logical address space where we have a new process with page 0, page 1, page 2 and page 4. And we have a free frame list. This is my main memory. From the main memory, this is my before allocation. Before allocation, this is my main memory. So this is the indicate the free frame. You can see 13, 14, then 15 is also there, then 18 and 20. So these are the free frame. So now we are going to perform the allocation. So page 0, this is the new process logical address space. So this is the page table, new process page table. So page 0 is going to allocate to page number 14. So this is the first free frame available. So page 0 is going to allocate in the page number 14 because the page size and the frame size is equal. So no question of fitting. Okay. So it is always going to be fitted. So page 0 is going to be allocated at frame number 14. Now for page 1, 13 is the next in the list. So page 1 is going to be fitted here, frame number 13, and then page 2. For page 2, which is the next one, 18. So 18 is going to be fitted in page number 18 is the frame number where the page 2 is going to be fitted, and after that we have in the free frame list we have 20. So the page 3 is going to be fitted in page 3. So after allocation in the free frame list we have only one free frame, that is 15. 15 is now available. So in this way we need to make a track. We need to have a track on the free frame list. Okay. So the next thing is what? Implementation of the page table, because we need to, if we are going for paging, we need to store the page table. Now where the page table can be stored? So page table is going to be kept in main memory. There are two registers, page table base register and page table length register. You can see PTBR and PRLR are available for this purpose. So page table base register, that is PTBR, are point to the page table. That is the base address of the page table. And page table length register, that is PRLR, is indicate the size of the page table. Okay. In this scheme, every data or instruction access require two memory access, one for searching in the main memory, because the page table is also in the main memory. So if we are going to search in the page table, we need to access the main memory once. And then after finding the page table frame number, the frame number is actually the frame number of the corresponding frame number of that particular pages, and where it is indicated, it is also going to be indicate a area of the location of the main memory. So again we need to go to the main memory for accessing the actual data. So in this scheme, every data or instruction access require two memory access, one for the page table and one for the data or instruction. The two memory access problem can be solved by the use of a special first look up hardware called associative memory or translation look aside buffer TLB. This is a buffer where which can be stored in a register. So some TLB store address space identifier, and each TLB entry uniquely identifies each process to provide address scheme protection. So this is basically the paging hardware. In the previous case, we have also we have already discussed about the paging hardware. The new thing is what? Our translation look aside buffer is added in this hardware, that is TLB. Now the thing is what? Because the memory access is a very costly kind of thing, it's required a time, cost is involved there. So to avoid for that, TLB can be used. TLB is just a buffer where the frequently accessed page and their frame number can be stored. Okay, the size of TLB is not very large, so the total page table cannot be stored. Okay, you can see it is going to be stored in a register, and the register size is not very large, so the total page table cannot be accommodated. Only the frequently accessed page can be accommodated here. Okay, so in TLB we have two column, page number and frame number. So whenever the CPU is going to CPU generated address, that is the logical address, is going to here again the same thing is there. The logical address is going to divided into two parts, page index and page offset. Now in the page index is going to act as for searching, used for searching in the TLB. So page index is going to use for searching in TLB, and whenever we are find the particular page number which is searching here, which we are searching, if it is fine, so then we are going to find the corresponding frame number also. And if we find the corresponding frame number, it is called a TLB hit. And then we can add the frame, we have the frame number and the offset can be added, and we can go to the physical address. But if the corresponding page number is not cannot be found here, it can be possible because the total page table is not going to be loaded. Okay, the total page table is not going to be loaded, so some page number may not be here, so then it is called a TLB miss. And in case of TLB miss, we are going to in case of TLB miss, we are going to again search in the page table, and we are going to have the corresponding frame number, and the frame number is then the offset is going to again we are going to search in the page table for the corresponding frame number, and then the offset is going to be added. So in case of TLB miss, actually you are going to follow the previous procedure, and in case of TLB hit, we are going to follow this procedure. Okay, so this is basically by including page in hardware and page hardware, which is going to be so this is basically with TLB, paging hardware with TLB. This is for the avoiding the memory access twice. So if it can be avoiding, so this is our register is going to use for implementing TLB. So the access to the register is very fast if you compare with the access to the main memory. So it can be accessed very fast. So the total thing is can be done quickly rather than accessing a page table in the main memory, and we don't need to access main memory twice in this approach if it is a TLB hit. But in case of TLB miss, we need to access main memory twice. Okay, and again we need to access a register also. So this is the effective access type. So you can see in the effective access time what are the things. The associative lookup, that is the epsilon is for this, and then assume memory cycle time is 1 microsecond. Hit ratio is a percentage where the particular data is found in the TLB, and if it is not found, then it is a miss, and hit ratio is alpha. So if it is a hit, then we need to this one is for accessing the main memory, for accessing the data, and this is for accessing the add for finding searching purpose TLB accessed once. Okay, so if this is for the hit, and if this alpha is the hit, so 1 minus alpha is the miss. So in that case, firstly we need this time is required for searching in the TLB. If it is a miss, then first one is for searching in the page table in the located in the main memory, and then another one is for going to access to the actual data. So this is basically the formula for calculating the effective access time. Okay, now we are going to discuss about memory protection. So for memory protection, one extra bit valid, extra bit, valid, invalid bit is associated with the page table. So this is basically the page table. So in the page table, previously we have only one field which is going to store only the frame number, and with that again we are going to store a valid, invalid. So for this process, we can see from the page table that page 0 is located at frame number 2, and this frame number is valid for this page. So V is basically the valid, indicate the valid. Now for page number 1, the frame number is 3, and it is also valid for that particular process. For now for page number 2, 4 is the frame number and it is also valid. For page number 3, 7 is the frame number, it is also valid. For page number 4, 8 is the frame number and it is also valid. And for page number 5, 9 is the frame number and it is also valid. But for page number 6 and page number 7, which is not present in this process, so for that process page table, these fields are invalid. So from this page table, we came to know that these are the valid frame, which is valid for that particular process. So if we need to store anything regarding to that process, we can store in this frame. Apart from this frame, if you store anyone else, then it will generate an error. Okay, so this is by by incorporating valid and invalid bit, we can implement the memory protection. Now this is about shared pages. It can be possible that same code is shared between many processes. So here you can see this is the page table for process 1. This is the page table for process 2 and this is the page table for process 3. Now some pages are common, that is here in page table you can see page number 3, 4, 6 are available in the page table of process 1. In the page table of process 2, again 3, 4, 6 are available, and in page table of process 3, again page number 3, frame number 3, 4, 6 are available. That means the frame number in the main memory, if frame number 3, 4, 6, whatever it is stored, it can be accessed by the process 1, by the process 2 and by the process 3 also. So whatever data or instruction loaded in these particular frames, that can be easily shared among process 1, process 2 and process 3. So in this way, sharing can be easily implemented. Okay. So, but ED1, this is a private page, so it is not shared. You can see this is actually located in ED1. This is for the one, and this is in located. So this not ED1, basically the data one, which is the private data. So the data one is located at frame number 1, which is only accessed by the process 1. This data 3 is only accessed by the process 3, and data 2 is only accessed by the process 2. So frame number 1, frame number 2 and frame number 7 are not shareable. Only they can access by the corresponding processes. So in this way, using the paging technique, we can easily implement the shared pages, okay, in this manner. Now the next question comes, the structure of the page table, because for a long process, a large process, the page table is going to be large enough. So if we are not able to store the page table in a structured manner, then it is not going to be stored. It is not, then a wastage of spaces can be there. Okay. So the structure of the page table is a very much important thing. So we can store a page table in three ways: hierarchical paging, hashed page tables, and inverted page tables. So this is basically hierarchical page table. Here you can see we have an outer page table. Now all the rows of the outer page table is not actually indicating to the frame number of a physical memory. They are going pointed to another page table. That is basically the inner page table. Okay. So in the inner page table, we have again a page table, and in that page table, we can have a pointer. Each row of that page table are going to point to the frame number of the physical memory. So in this way, by using the hierarchical approach, we can break up the logical address space into multiple page tables. Okay, so it is for two level. Simple technique is a two level page table. Here we have only example. In this example, we have only two level. It can be increased also. So in the two-level paging example here, the logical address is going to be distributed like this. P1 is for the outer page table. Here you can see P1 is the index for the outer page table. And by using P1, we can search the address of the outer page table. We can search the address of the inner page table basically. Okay, basically pages of the page table. So we are going to, so firstly we require this P1. Using P1, we are going to have the page going to point to the page of page table, and then you in that page of page table we are going to use the P2. P2 is searching for the corresponding frame, and here the corresponding frame is available, so the frame is going added with the D, that is the page offset, and we have the thing. So you can see this is the outer page, inner page, and offset. Say it is 42 and it is 10 and then 12. So it can be done like this. So second outer pages, it is 32 and then 10, then 10 and then, so you can go to the next level also. Okay, in this way. Here it is actually done in three levels. Okay. So hash page tables. Okay, this is another approach. Here you can see the page tables are not going to store like a table. It is going to, we are going to use the linked list approach for storing the page table. In this case also, the logical address is going to divide it into page number and page offset. Now on the page number, hash function is going to apply. There is a hash table, and from the hash table is going to point to the noded the node. It's going to point to the node of the linked list. Now it is going to search in the linked list. Now suppose we are searching for P. So in the first node you are going to search for in this field Q. So it is not P. So from this node you are going to have the address of the next node also. So it is going to the next node, that is P. So in the next node P, again, so we are actually searching for P. So in the next field, we are going to have the corresponding frame number. So the frame number is R. So that means all the nodes of the linked list is going to divide it into three portions. The first portion indicated the page index. The second portion indicated the corresponding frame number. And the third portion is hold the address of the next node. So the total page table is not stored as a table format. It is going to store as a linked list. So it obviously it will help to store that. So the virtual page number is hashed into a page table. This page table contains a chain of element hashing to the same location. So virtual page numbers are compared in the chain searching for a match. If a match is found, the corresponding physical frame is extracted. So the corresponding physical frame is extracted, and then it is going to be added with the offset in the same manner, and it is mapped with the physical address. Okay. Now this is the another one, that is inverted page table. So in inverted page table, we have an extra thing, that is the process ID. So the process ID, so in this case, we are going to search in the page table, not with the help of the page index. We are going to search in the page table with the help of process identifier. So we are going to search with the help of process identifier. How? Basically, there is a combination of process identifier, that PID and P. P is the page index and PID is the process identifier. So this combination is obviously going to be a unique one because PID is unique for every page. Okay, so the page, this combination is going to be the unique. So we are going to search this combination in the page table. So in which row we are going to have the match, that row number is going to be our frame number. So in which row we are going to have the match, that row number is basically the frame number, and that then it is going to be added with the offset and we have the physical address. Okay, so why it is inverted? In the previous cases we are actually searching for the P. Okay, so for which value we are searching, that is with us, and in the page table we are actually going to store what? We are going to store the frame number, but in this case we are actually search row wise, and in which row number we are actually going to find the match, that is going to be our frame number. Okay, so therefore this is inverted. So these are the three ways, the hierarchical, hashing and inverted page table, by which we can implement page table in memory. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about segmentation. So segmentation is actually another non-contiguous memory management technique. Here we are going to support the user view. Usually user cannot view the total machine as the page. It is not going. They are not going to view the computer as a collection of the tables like this. They are going to visualize the computer like this, a large hole from in which somewhere some portion of the program is stored, somewhere another portion is going to be stored like this. So it is not fixed size. Okay, so basically segmentation is going to allow the user perception. So in segmentation, this is the logical address. The total logical address is not going to be divided into fixed size blocks. The portion of main programs is going to be stored somewhere in the logical memory like this. Okay, so this is an example. Here you can see, so 1 2 3 4, these are the portion of the segmented, these are the segmented basically, and this is my physical address space. So this segment is located here, this segment is located here like this, and you can see it may or may not be equal size. Okay, so this is basically the segmentation architecture. Here also the logical memory is going to divide it into two parts, the segmentation index and the offset. Now we are going to search in the segment table. So segmentation index is going to act as an index, and we are going to find the limit and base for the corresponding segment. Okay, so the base is going to be added as the base address of the corresponding physical memory, and the limit is basically the size. So we are going to check the offset. If it is less than the limit, then there is a trap. If it is less than the limit, then it is okay. That means it is in the size, in between the size, and it is added with the base address and the physical memory we can have. But if it is not less than, then and it is actually exceeding the size, the limit of the segment allocated, so it is going to be giving an addressing error. So this is the segmentation hardware, just like the paging, only some differences are there. And this is an example. Here you can see this is segment 0 1 2 3 4 like this, and this is the segment table. So from the segment table, what we come to know, where the segment table limit, the segment 0's limit is 1000 and the base address is 14. So if we come in the main memory, base is the basically the base address. So 1400 is the starting of segment 0, and then the limit is added with the 1400 2400. This is the ending of the segment 0. Now if you search for segment 3, in segment 3, what is the base address? 3200. So this is the starting, and what is the limit? 1100. So 1100 is added with 3200, and we have 4300 as an end address. So in this way, the segmentation is actually done. So in this class, we have discussed different things about paging and segmentation, and these are very important issues. And obviously, we'll go through all these things, and we are going to discuss in the previous class the rest of the things which is important about the memory. We are actually now in all these classes we have up to now we have discussed about the issues regarding to the main memory, how the memory management scheme can be applied for the primary memory, but there are some others memories also. The virtual memory disk files are also there, so those things are also going to be discussed in the next videos. Okay, so from then, thank you student, and be safe.